You've probably been boarding flights the same way for years. Same seat, same routine, same small discomforts. But what if I told you that every time you fly, you might be leaving real money, comfort, and privileges on the table, simply because no one ever told you they existed? That's the quiet secret airlines hope you never discover. There are free perks made specifically for seniors, perks that could completely change how you travel. But they'll never offer them unless you ask. Most passengers never find out. They walk past the same check-in counter, endure the same cramped seat, and think that's just how flying is now. But it doesn't have to be, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what to say, when to say it, and who to ask to unlock 15 powerful travel perks airlines don't talk about, completely free, perfectly legal, and hidden in plain sight. No miles, no upgrades, just insider knowledge they quietly keep out of reach. And here's why this matters, especially if you're over 60. Flying isn't as easy as it used to be. The lines feel longer, the seats tighter, and the energy fades quicker. But behind all that noise are real advantages, services designed for seniors, waiting for those who know how to ask. So don't board another flight like everyone else, because after this, you won't have to. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know more than most airline staff are trained to tell you. You don't need a first-class ticket to fly with dignity, but here's the truth few travelers over 60 ever hear. Airlines already offer quiet comforts, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the ones who know how to ask. Let's begin where every journey starts, with your body, your comfort, and your peace of mind. Number 15, complimentary toiletry kits. They're never announced, but when delays drag on or flights stretch longer than planned, some gate agents or attendants quietly carry hygiene packs, wipes, toothpaste, socks, even lip balm. Not luxury, relief. The secret? Ask early, not when the cabin is buzzing with meal service. Say, is there a comfort kit available for seniors? You don't need to over-explain. Mention a long flight or a small mobility issue. More often than not, it's a discreet yes. Number 14, help with connecting flights. Tight layovers, misconnections, silent anxiety. But behind that worry is a quiet system built just for this. When you check in, ask for meet and assist. It can mean an escort through terminals, a cart ride across long gates, or even priority rebooking if you're delayed. Wait until landing and it's too late. Ask before you board and the system moves for you. Number 13, access to airport lounges. You don't need a gold card or fancy status to breathe easier. Lounges often offer day passes, but here's the secret most travelers miss. When delays hit or medical needs arise, a polite request can open doors money usually closes. Say, is there any accommodation available for seniors during this delay? The key isn't force, it's grace. Calm, respectful tone. That's what makes agents want to help. Number 12, help with carry-on luggage. This one's simple, but often ignored. Pride can hurt more than turbulence. If your bag feels heavy, don't wait until you're surrounded by restless passengers. Ask early, at the gate or the moment you step on board. Would it be possible to get help with my carry-on? They'd rather help now than handle an in-flight injury later. None of these are favors, they're your rights. Small privileges hidden behind silence and hesitation. Because once you start asking, you'll see what's always been there. A system designed for comfort, but invisible until you speak up. And if even one of these tips reminds you of a flight that could have been easier, leave a comment below. Someone else might be walking into that same storm right now, and your story could be the light they need. You don't need miles, points, or status to travel in comfort, just timing, tone, and a little inside knowledge. Because some of the best perks aren't printed on your ticket. They're spoken into existence, one polite question at a time. Let's start with the ones that make the biggest difference, the small comforts that separate a long flight from a long ordeal. Number 11, free seat upgrades, when available. They're not announced, they're not guaranteed, but they do happen. Every flight leaves room for reshuffles, and sometimes for quiet kindness. Here's how it works. Arrive early, be gentle. Say, hi, I've got a bit of back stiffness and I'm on a long flight. If there's any aisle or extra legroom seat that opens up, I'd really appreciate it. No demands, no drama. Just grace. Gate agents remember that because most travelers don't ask with respect. And when a seat opens, yours might be the name they think of first. Number 10, headphones are entertainment devices. You'd be surprised how many flights still carry spare earbuds or even tablets for longer routes. But here's the catch, they never tell you about them. So, if your plane doesn't have built-in screens, ask, are headphones available? I'd love to follow the in-flight movie. Or, do you have anything I could borrow to listen with? You're not asking for luxury, you're asking to be seen. Because comfort at 30,000 feet isn't just about legroom, it's about feeling remembered. Number 9, blankets and pillows. They disappear fast, usually before takeoff. but if you ask early, you'll almost always get one. Say, would it be possible to get a blanket before they run out? I tend to get cold during flights. It's simple, it's soft, and for seniors managing arthritis, circulation, or joint stiffness, it can turn a restless flight into a restful one. Number 8, extra water and snacks. Hydration is everything at altitude. Cabin air dehydrates you 40% faster, and for anyone taking medication, that's not just uncomfortable, it's risky. So don't wait until the drink cart rolls by. Say, could I please have some extra water? I take meds every few hours. They'll usually hand you 2 cups or even a bottle. And when it comes to snacks, ask early. Do you happen to have a few extra crackers or something small? Because staying nourished isn't vanity, it's safety, especially in the chaos of connecting flights and new airports.
Number 7, special meals. Low sodium, diabetic, vegetarian. These are the quiet lifelines for travelers with dietary needs. Ideally, you request them 24 to 48 hours before your flight. But even on board, you can still ask. Say, I requested a diabetic meal, has it been loaded? Or, is there a low sodium option today? Even if your request didn't go through, flight crews often have backups or can swap a safer option from another tray. Because for seniors, balancing medication and nutrition, meals aren't just comfort, they're care. And that's the real message here. You don't need a first-class seat to feel seen. You just need to speak up, early, respectfully, and without apology. Every comfort you ask for is already built into the system, hidden behind silence and hesitation. So don't wait for the announcement that never comes. Ask. Because sometimes the difference between exhaustion and ease is one quiet question. And if even one of these tips feels like something you wish you'd known sooner, hit that like button, not for me, but for the next traveler who's still afraid to ask. Because no one should ever feel forgotten on a flight. Not anymore. Let's talk about the side of air travel no one likes to admit. The part that doesn't show up in glossy brochures or loyalty programs. The fatigue, the stiffness, the quiet fear of falling behind the crowd. For seniors, it's not just about comfort anymore. It's about safety. And here's the part the airlines will never announce. They already have systems built to protect you. They just wait for you to ask. Let's start with the one thing no one tells you until it's urgent: oxygen. If you need supplemental oxygen, notify the airline at least 48 hours before you fly. You'll need a doctor's note and a specific kind of portable concentrator, FAA approved, of course. But here's what they don't say. If your need is legitimate and documented, they must accommodate you. It's not a favor, it's federal law. You're not an inconvenience, you're a passenger with protected rights. Now let's talk legroom. Extra space usually costs extra, unless you ask with the right words and the right timing. If you have a medical condition that affects circulation, mobility, or joint stiffness, you may qualify for a seat with more legroom at no charge. Most people don't realize it's even possible. The secret? Call ahead, at least 48 hours before your flight, and have your documentation ready. Because one phone call could mean you actually walk off the plane feeling human. Next, seat selection. For most travelers, it's a question of window or aisle. But for seniors, it's about strategy. A seat near the front means less walking. Near the bathroom, less stress. Near the aisle, less strain. If you explain your mobility or medical needs early, airlines can often assign you priority seating. Again, not a privilege, not charity, policy. But it only works if you ask clearly and in advance. Now let's face the hardest part of every journey: boarding and deplaning. Jet bridges, steep ramps, crowded aisles. They're all risks no one talks about until something goes wrong. That's why every airline already has a mobility assistance protocol already in place, including early boarding, help with deplaning, and even escort service to baggage claim or your connecting gate. Don't wait until you're exhausted to ask for help. Request it early, confirm it at check-in, remind the gate agent. The system is built to support you, but only if you let it. And about that priority boarding, it's not just for elite travelers. If you have any medical or mobility concern, you qualify, period. No gold card, no special ticket, just say it. I'd like to pre-board for medical reasons. It's your right. You'll board before the crowd with time to settle and space to breathe. Too many seniors skip it out of pride. Don't. Calm isn't a luxury, it's prevention. And finally, wheelchair assistance. It's not just for those who can't walk. It's for anyone who experiences fatigue, dizziness, pain, or limited stamina during travel. You can request it for your departure, your connection, and your arrival, and someone will escort, push, and wait with you through the entire process. That's not dependency, that's smart travel. Even if you don't normally use a wheelchair, asking for it at the airport can prevent exhaustion, confusion, or falls. There's no shame in being wise. Because here's the truth. Traveling after 60 shouldn't feel like an obstacle course. It shouldn't drain you before you even reach your gate. It shouldn't be a guessing game of what you're allowed to ask for. Every one of these services exists for a reason, to make your journey smoother, safer, and more human. Not a handout, not a luxury, a right. If it protects your health, your comfort, or your dignity, you don't have to justify it. You've earned it with every mile, every delay, every trip that took more out of you than it should have. So now it's your turn. Have you ever used one of these services or found out too late that you could have? Was there a moment when you thought, if only someone had told me this sooner? Share it in the comments. Your story might save someone else's next flight. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Because in the next episode, we're uncovering the quiet new rule airlines are using to confiscate carry-ons at the gate and how to stop it before it happens to you.